So a gasoline engine working on 4-stroke develops a brake power of 20.9 kilowatts. A Morse test was conducted on this engine and the brake power uh, 13 kilowatts obtained when each cylinder was made inoperative by short circuiting the spark plug or 14.9, 14.3, 14.8 and 14.5 respectively. The test was conducted at constant speed. Find the indicated power, mechanical efficiency and brake mean effective pressure when all the cylinders are firing. The bore of the engine is 75 mm and the stroke is 90 mm. The engine is running at 3000 rpm. Okay, this is what the problem statement is looking for. So let's try to solve this problem. Solution. So what is given actually? The total brake power when all the engines are running. Let me call that as brake T. Okay, that is 20.9 kilowatts. Okay, or BP or something. Let me call it as it is the BPT. So brake power when one cylinder is inoperative. Let me call that as B1. So one cylinder is cut off. I am getting around 14.9 kilowatts. So brake power when two cylinders are inoperative, it is, let me call it as B2. Okay, it is 14.3 kilowatts. Then when three cylinders are inoperative, it is 14.8. Then if the four cylinders are inoperative, it is 14.5 kilowatts. This is what they given date. And they have given the other data, that is diameter of the bore of the engine, that is it is 75 mm it is. So it is 0.075 meters and the stroke length it is 90 mm or 0.09 meters and they given the speed is 3000 rpm. So this is the data they given. What you are supposed to find? You are supposed to find the first one. It is the indicated power, that is IP total. Okay, indicated power. The second one, it is the mechanical efficiency. The third one, it is the brake mean effective pressure or PM, EP or whatever it may be, PM with respect to BP, brake mean effective pressure. This is what we are supposed to find. So let's try to find one by one. See, your indicated power is given by, see, indicated power. What is it actually? Indicated power is nothing but IP. So IP total is equal to, so IP1 plus IP2 plus IP3 plus IP4. Okay, I have this actually. Now what is IP actually? IP1 is nothing but total brake power minus brake power of the first engine. Okay, that's how it is. So the same equation I can write it as uh, total brake power minus brake power of the first engine plus, okay, total brake power minus brake power of the two engines cut off, then total brake power minus the, so this is what would be indicated for. So brake power of the three engines when cut off, then total brake power, total brake power is BPT, okay, minus brake power when four engines are cut off. Okay, when cylinder 4 is inoperative, first cylinder, second cylinder, third cylinder, fourth cylinder, I am cutting off one after the other. So first cylinder is cut off, what I am getting. Second cylinder is cut off, what I am getting. Third cylinder is cut off, what I am getting. Fourth cylinder is cut off, what I am getting. So this is what I am trying to get it. Now if I try to do this particular operation, so what is this actually? It is actually simply 4 times your, see if I try to do this, 4 times your dpt minus, same thing, simple mathematical operation. I can just add up everything. B1 plus B2 plus B3 plus B4. Simple mathematical calculations. So I can write this as 4 into 20.9. So this is the IP total minus, add up everything, that is 14.9 plus 14.3 plus 14.8 plus 14.5. All are in kilowatts. If I add up everything, my IP total is 25.1 kilowatts. Okay, add up everything, 14.9, everything, 14.9 plus 14.3 plus 14.8 plus 14.5, okay, minus 4 into 20.9. If I do, I'm getting around 25.1 kilowatts. So you should get the same number. I'm getting 25.1 kilowatts. So this is your indicator. It is a simple problem. The only thing is actually what we studied in Moore's test. First cylinder is cut off, second cylinder is cut off, third cylinder is cut off, fourth cylinder is cut off. What is the output? So that I am trying to put a simple formula. I have simplified it and I got the solution. Okay. What is mechanical efficiency? Mechanical efficiency is brake power divided by indicated power. Okay. Second, mechanical efficiency. Mechanical efficiency is given by total brake power to indicated power total. So in the numerator it is 20.9 divided by 25.1. Both are in kilowatts. So I can put 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 3. So I am getting around 0.8326. Okay, 83.26 percentage or 83.3. We can round it up to 83.3. So this is the mechanical efficiency. What is brake mean effective pressure? PM brake mean effective. It is your total brake power, that is total brake power. So you have to convert it to 60 because you have the stroke, this thing at the denominator, that is LAN into K. So N is in RPM, minutes actually, that's why I have to put it here. So you have to put this particular BP in kilowatts. So I have to multiply by 10 to the power of 3. This is the simple formula. Okay, 60 into BP, that is a brake power total. And if you are converting that kilowatts to watts, put 10 to the power of 3. So if the power is in directly in watts, you need not put that. It will be only brake power into 60. So divided by stroke length into cross sectional area into N. So here 4 stroke, it is N is equal to, see, for 4 stroke N is equal to N by 2. So for 4 stroke engine, because the power is produced for every alternate stroke. Then number of cylinders. So here it is K is equal to 4. So that is given here. So in the problem statement, the K is equal to 4. It's understood because they are telling that is 4 cylinders. Okay. Now let's try to substitute. So brake power is 20.9 into 60 into 10 to the power of 3 divided by, so stroke length is 90 mm or 0.09 meters into cross section area, that is pi by 4 into your area diameter is 75 mm, that is 0.075 square into your speed is actually 3000 divided by 2, that is n by 2 into number of cylinders is 4. So let's try to substitute everything. So I'm getting around 5 point, okay, I'm getting around 5.25 10 to the power of 5. 5.25 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per meter square, or 5.25 bar. So this is your brake mean effective pressure, and this is your mechanical efficiency, this is your indicated power. So all the three quantities which you are supposed to find from your numerical statement, this is as per Morse test. So if there are 4 cylinders, so similar procedure can be applied for if there is a 3 cylinders or 6 cylinders or 8 cylinders, whatever it may be, the same procedure can be applied to salt. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes,
So this is
sir.
about the very basic fundamentals of all the your calculations with respect to IC engines. So now only thing left out is actually we have to look into some heat balance sheet problems. Okay. So let's try to solve some 2 heat balance sheet problems. So one by one we'll take. So in the problem, the 10 numerical statements, I think 8, 9, 10, they're all heat balance. So let's try to take the heat one. See, I keep telling you that whenever we try to conduct a test on any IC engine, it is done on either minute basis or hour basis. So be careful with that. What is the duration of the trial? Is it 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour? So that if you have to be very careful when you are solving the heat balance sheet problem. Okay, the problem statement is something like this. The following observations were recorded during a trial of a 4-stroke single cylinder oil engine. The duration of the trial is 30 minutes. Oil consumed is 4 liters. Calorific value. So all the things you have to convert it to SI. Okay. Oil. So calorific value of the fuel is 43 megajoules per kg or 43,000 kilojoules per kg. Whatever they want, they will be giving. Specific gravity of the fuel 0.8. Okay. Average area of the indicator diagram, it is 8.5 centimeter square or 8.5 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter square, whatever the way you are, they can give. So length of the indicated diagram, it is 85 mm or 8.5 centimeters. Indicator spring constant. So everything they are given in terms of centimeter, that's why it is 5.5 bar per centimeter, or they can give this particular thing 5.5 bar per meter or per millimeter. You have to be a bit careful with that. So brake load 150 kgs. So that you have to convert it in Newton, 150 into 9.81. Spring balance reading, it is 20 kg. Effective brake wheel diameter, so it is 1.5 meter. The radius will be 0.75 meters. Speed 200 rpm. Cylinder diameter, it is 300 mm or 30 centimeters. Stroke length, it is 45 centimeters or 0.45 meters. Jacket cooling water mass flow rate, it is 10 kg per minute. So temperature rise, that is delta T of the cooling water. So they are not given what is the cooling water inlet temperature, what is the exit cooling water temperature. They are given directly the delta T, that is T cold out minus T cold in. They are given, it is 36 degrees Celsius. Delta T they are given. So calculate indicated power, brake power, mechanical efficiency, brake specific fuel consumption, indicated thermal efficiency, heat carried away by the cooling water. So the first, instead of directly taking the heat balance sheet, I am trying to introduce to how to calculate one of the heat balance, that is heat carried away by the cooling water. Okay. Now let's try to solve this problem and write all the data. Okay. Solution. So duration of the test, that is T is equal to 30 minutes. Okay. Then mass of fuel. So how much is it consumed actually? It is 4 liters or 4000 cc. Okay. So calorific value is 43 megajoules per kg. And the spring constant, yes, I think it is specific gravity. Specific gravity is 0.8. So area of the indicator diagram, let me call it as some capital A, area of AI. So they are given it as actually 8.5 centimeters square. Okay. Then average area, so then length of the indicator diagram, that is L indicator Li is equal to 8.5 centimeters. So there is one spring actually, so that spring constant. There is a spring constant, so it is actually some K or something, capital Ks, so which is 5.5 bar per centimeter. Okay. Then the load, it is 150 kg, so it should be in newtons. It will be 150 into 9.81 newtons. Okay. The radius, breakdown diameter they are given. So the radius. So radius of the brake drum, or which we call it the drum, R drum, is equal to, so they given 1.5 divided by 2, it is 0.75 meters. Okay, speed 200 rpm. So then bore diameter, it is 0.3 meters or 30 centimeters. Stroke length, it is 45 centimeters or 0.45 meters. Then mass of water in the cooling jacket, that is m dot w. M dot w, it is 10 kg per minute. Okay. Then temperature increase of the water, that is delta T W of water, that is 36 degree Celsius. Spring balance reading. So there is a spring balance reading, which is some 20. Yeah, something is missing. Yeah, spring balance reading we missed out actually. Spring balance reading also missed out actually. Spring balance reading, that is 20 newtons, that is 20 kg, that is 20 into 9.81 newtons. So this is the data which is given. So now let us try to find the solution. One by one we'll try to do. Okay. So we need to find indicated power, brake power, all those things one by one. Okay. The first one, indicated power. Indicated power. Okay. So the indicated power IP is equal to mean effective pressure IP into L into A into N, they multiplied by number of cylinders divided by 60. If you want it in watts, 60 into 10 to the power of 3, you want the value in kilowatts. Now I don't know the value of indicated mean effective pressure. So I can find indicated power, that is indicated mean effective pressure, is given by your area of the indicated diagram, okay, divided by length of the indicated diagram into the constant, that is Ks. Okay, that is 8.5 centimeter square divided by 8.5 into 5.5 bar per this thing. So it is 5.5 bar. Okay, that is the unit. Mean effective pressure is 5.5 bar or 5.5 to 10 to the power of 5. So now if I try to substitute in your indicated power that value, this will be 5.5 into 10 to the power of 5. Your stroke length is 0.45. So here you have to put your diameter of the piston, that is 0.3. So pi by 4 into 0.3 square. So here, this being a 4-stroke engine, your small n is equal to capital N by 2. So this will be 200 by 2 into number of cylinders, it's 1. So the whole thing divided by 60 into 10 to the power of 3. So that your IP is equal to so many kilowatts. Okay, let me substitute everything. Okay, so I'm getting around 300, 200 by 200 divided by 16. So I'm getting around 29.16 kilowatts. Just I'm rounding off actually. You may be getting 25.5 something and all. So I'm rounding it up to 2 decimals. Okay, this is your indicated power. Okay, second thing, brake power. So brake power, if you look at it here it is based on the torque is based on your mechanical dynamometer. So what will be your torque actually? Your W minus that particular spring reading. So that will be your load actually. See, what is the load acting on the dynamometer? It is your whatever the weight you are adding minus the spring reading. Weight added minus spring reading. Or sometimes what you are going to get, you are going to directly get the difference spring reading. So what we have in our lab, no IC Engines lab, directly you will be getting the difference in spring reading that we are going to take it. So here they are given the whatever the weight added and the spring reading, you have to take the difference of it. Okay, 150 kg something minus 20 kg. So 130 is the kg, that is active load that is acting on the dynamometer. Okay, the formula for your brake power is actually brake power is equal to 2 into pi into n into 2 pi nt by 60. If you get it in watts, you want it in kilowatts, this will be 10 to the power of 3. Now what is the torque actually? So torque is nothing but your the net load that is added into your brake drum, that is R drum. So here this should be in newtons. So this will be 150 minus 20 into 9.81 into 0.75. So this will be your torque. Okay, I am getting around 956.475 or 48 Newton meter. So let me substitute that particular thing in your brake power. So brake power is equal to 2 into pi into, see here in brake power you are directly measuring the speed of that particular engine. Never ever try to put n by 2. Here you have to put directly the speed. So here it should be 200 rpm. So 200 into 956.48 divided by 60 into 10 to the power of 3. So you will be getting your brake power, which is 20.03 kilowatts. Okay, so now mechanical efficiency, just take the ratio of it. It's simple thing. So mechanical efficiency, okay, it is BP by IP. So it is 20.03 divided by 29.16. 29.16. So I am getting around 68.68 percentage, or 68.68 means I round it up to 68.7. 68.7 percentage. This is my mechanical efficiency. What the next one we need to find? It is brake specific fuel consumption. What is it actually? Brake specific fuel consumption means mass of fuel consumed. It should be in kg per hour, because brake specific fuel consumption should be in kg per kilowatt hour. So that's why I want my mass of fuel consumed in per hour actually. So the next thing is brake specific fuel consumption. Fourth one. Brake specific fuel consumption. BSFC. Okay. BSFC. What is this actually? It is mass of fuel, mass flow rate of the fuel divided by brake power already you have found. Now only thing is I have to find mass flow rate of this fuel. So mass flow rate of the fuel is equal to, so mass of fuel in, see we have got it in cc, okay, so I have to get it in, so that particular I want to get it in liter, so divided by 1000, so into specific gravity divided by 1000 into time, so duration of the time it is 30 minutes. Okay, so I want it in the whole thing, I want it in hour, so multiplied by 60. Okay, if I do this, I'll be getting the directly the mass flow rate of the fuel in kg per hour. So if I do it actually, this will be 4000 cc into 0.8 into 60 divided by 1000 into 30 minutes. So minutes I'm trying to convert it to this particular thing. So I'm getting the mass flow rate as 6.4 kg per hour. Yeah, 6.4 kg per hour. So directly if I go and substitute here, it is 6.4 divided by 20.03. So I am getting around 0.32, 319 or something. So 20.03, it is 0.3195. So I will just put it as 0.32. So 0.32 kg per kilowatt hour. So this is your brake specific fuel consumption. So what else you have to find next actually? The thermal efficiency and heat taken away by the cooling water. Okay. So thermal efficiency. Next. Fifth one. Thermal efficiency. What is the thermal efficiency? See here, indicated thermal efficiency. So they are given clearly told that indicated thermal efficiency. So indicated thermal efficiency means should be based on indicated power. So indicated thermal efficiency. The thermal efficiency you can have it on brake power as well as on the indicated power. Okay, this is what we are going to find. So the indicated thermal efficiency is equal to IP divided by heat supplied. Okay, what is your heat supplied? Heat supplied is nothing but mass of fuel. Okay, mass of fuel multiplied by calorific value. What is mass of fuel actually here? Actually, see here, see indicated power is in kilowatts. Okay, so in that case, what so mass of fuel is 6.4 kg per hour. So I have to convert it into kg per second, then multiply by calorific value. So then only the percentage will balance. Numerator will be in that particular value. Denominator also will be in kilowatts or something. So that's why I have to check for the units. So here this will be 6.4 divided by 3600 to convert from kg per hour to kg per second, multiplied by calorific value, that is 43 megajoules, that is 43 into 10 to the power of 6. So I am getting, so this is the value what I am getting, 6.4 divided by 3600 into 43 10 to the power of 6. So it is 76.44. Okay, 44 kilowatts. This is the heat supply. Then what is your thermal efficiency in that case? Therefore, your thermal efficiency is equal to, your indicated power is 29.16 kilowatts. That is 29.16 divided by heat supplied is 76.44. So I am getting around just 29.16 divided by 76.44. I am getting around 38.15. So I am getting around 38.147. So 38.15%. This is the indicated thermal efficiency. Okay. So what are the last term? Heat carried away by the cooling water. Heat carried away by the cooling water. That's the last term. Heat carried away by the cooling water. Cooling water. What it is actually, let me call that as Q dot W, which is equal to mass flow rate of water into Cp of water into delta T of the water. That's it. All the values you know. So it is actually 10 kg per minute. So if you go back and see here, mass flow rate of the water, it is 10 kg per minute. So 10, I have to convert it to seconds. So 10 by 60 into what is the Cp of water? 4.187 into delta T is 36. That's all. Okay. If you want, you can put 4.2 also. Doesn't matter. Cp of water 4.187. Instead of that, you can put 4.2 also. So mass flow rate of water, it is 10 divided by 60 into 4.187. So directly I'll be getting in kilowatts if you want, or 10 to the power of 3 into 36. Okay. So if I substitute it, so I'm getting around 25.12 kilowatts. So Q dot W is equal to 25.12 kilowatts. So this is the problem. What and all they've asked, everything we are able to find it.
Sir, could you just go to the just a minute, sir.
Is this clear?
Last part.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You just calculate. You
just
cross check.
Just a minute, sir.
Okay, fine. I'll be there. So this is the value. Thermal efficiency is around 38.15%. High heat carried away is around 25.16 kilowatts.
Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. So let's try to do one more. So that this problem will be on heat balance sheet. So very similar to what we have done. So here what we are going to do, we are going to construct a table. Okay. That is, on one side we'll be having all the input, and other side we'll try to put what are the energy that is consumed, and we'll try to balance it with respect to percentage. Okay. That's what we'll try to do. So the problem statement is something like this. A 4-stroke gas engine has a cylinder diameter of 25 centimeter and a stroke of 45 centimeter. The effective diameter of the brake is 1.6 meter. That is, brake drum is there, no? That diameter is 1.6. So the radius will be 1.8 meter. 1.6 divided by 2.8 meters. So the observations made in a test of the engine were as follows. So duration of the test, I keep telling, you have to be very careful with that. Duration of the test here is 40 minutes. Total number of revolutions, that is RPM, 8080, that is 8880 RPM, 8080 RPM. So total number of explosions, it is 3230. Okay, so this they are directly given, N total. Okay, here 8080 divided by 40. See, total number of revolutions for a 40 minutes test. So what is your RPM in that case? Okay, 8080 by divided by 40. It is 202 RPM. You have to be very careful. Don't take 8080 RPM. It is total number of revolutions. It's 8080 divided by 40. So RPM is 202 RPM. Okay, then they are given number of explosions. So they are trying to measure. In a 4-stroke, it is actually N by 2. But here they are trying to measure it. So it is actually 3230 divided by 40. It's around 81. Around 80, roughly 80. It is not exactly 100. It is 80. They are trying to measure it actually. So experimental, they are trying to measure it. So you have to be very careful when you're solving this problem. Okay. Then net load on the brake, it is 80 kg. So directly they are given the net load. They are not given the load added by a spring at all. Directly they are given the load. So mean effective pressure, it is 5.8 bar. Directly they are given. Then volume of the gas used. Okay, this being a gas engine, so volume of the gas they used actually they are given. It is 7.5 meter cube. So 7.5 meter cube divided by 40. So many meter cube per minute. Okay, then what will be your gauge pressure? So they given it is 136 mm of water. 136 mm of water. You have to be very careful with that. It's a gauge pressure. Then atmospheric temperature, they are given it as 17 degrees. So 17 plus 273, 290 Kelvin. Okay. calorific value at NTP for that particular gas, it is 19 megajoules per meter cube. Okay. Then temperature rise of the cooling water, it is delta T of water, 45 degrees Celsius. Cooling water supplied, it is 180 kg. You want it in in minutes actually, kg per minute, 180 by 40. So roughly around 4.5 or 4.6 you will get it. Then atmospheric pressure is around 760 mm of Hg. Okay, these are the data that they are given. We have to find the indicated thermal efficiency, break thermal efficiency, or the heat balance sheet. Okay, these three things we are supposed to do. We'll do that actually one by one. We'll try to. First, we'll try to write the data what is given. Okay, they are given the diameter, which is 25 centimeters or 0.25 meters. So that is pore diameter is 0.25 meters. Stroke length is 45 centimeters or 0.45 meters. And they are given the radius of the drum, which is 1.6 divided by 2, which is 0.8 meters. So what is the duration of the test? It is 40 minutes. You have to be very careful here. 40 minutes. So N total, it is 8080. So number of revolutions. Then what is your N? N will be 8080 divided by 40. Okay, it is 202 RPM. Okay, then number of explosions, that is small n total, it is 3230. Then what is your n? Small n, it is 3230 divided by 40. I am getting 80.75. This is actually number of explosions per minute. Okay, number of 80.75 explosions per minute. Then net load, it is 80 kg. So 89.81 newtons. So indicated mean effective pressure, it is 5.8 bar. Okay. Then the total volume of the fuel consumed. Okay. That is, let me put it as m dot f. It is 7.5 meter cube. Okay. 7.5 meter cube. M dot f is equal to 7.5 divided by 40. Okay. It is 0.1875 meter cube per minute. Okay. Then they are given the gauge pressure, which is 136 mm of water. I'm writing all the things. Then atmospheric pressure, okay, at which the air enters, that is 17 plus 273, it is 290 Kelvin. Okay, then they are given the calorific value of that fuel, it is 19 megajoules per kg. So megajoules per meter cube actually. Then they are given the delta T of water. Delta T of water, it is 45 degrees Celsius. They are given the mass of water, that is mass flow rate of water, which is 180 kg divided by 40, it is 4.5 kg per minute. And they are given the last, this thing is atmospheric pressure, which is 760 mm of Hg. This is the data that is given in the problem statement. What we are supposed to find? We are supposed to find, first thing, indicated thermal efficiency. Then the second one, the break thermal efficiency. Third one, the heat balance sheet. Heat balance sheet. This is what we are supposed to find. First, let us find the indicated power. So if you want to find indicated thermal efficiency, you have to find the indicated power actually. So indicated power is given by indicated power IP is given by the mean effective pressure into L into E into N into number of cylinders divided by 60 into 10 to the power of 3 if you want the value in kilowatts. Okay, now let us try to put everything, all the values. 5.8 into 10 to the power of 5, that is 5.8 bar, okay, into your stroke length, it is 0.45 into area is actually 5 by 4 into 0.25 square into N is 80.75. In your K is 1, it's a single cylinder, divided by 60 into 10 to the power of 3. So I am getting my IP is equal to, so I am getting around 17.25 kilowatts. This is your brake power, sorry, indicated power. Then what is my brake power? That is small bp is equal to 2 pi nt by 60 into 10 to the power of 3 if you want it in kilowatts. Then what is the torque actually? Okay, torque is equal to your net load into R drum. Okay, what is the net load? It is 80 kgs, 80 into 99.81 into, that is 1.6 divided by 2, that is 0.8. Okay, 80 into 9.81 into 0.8. It is 627.84 Newton meters. So if I substitute over here, 2 into 5 into N is 202 into 627.84 whole thing divided by 60 into 10 to the power of 3. So I am getting my brake power as 13.28 kilowatts. So this is my indicated power and this is my brake power. Okay. Now, what is the pressure at which the gas is supplied? Okay, the pressure, see, I am trying to give you the gauge pressure and that is 136. So many 136 millimeters of water. So how to convert the gauge pressure to your maybe to your gauge pressure in terms of mercury, millimeters of mercury divided by specific gravity. So 136 divided by 13.6. If I do, I will try to get that particular value in terms of so many millimeters of mercury. Okay, so many millimeters of mercury I can get it. So that's how you can get it. Okay, now, so pressure of the gas supplied, pressure of the gas supplied, that is your, what is it actually, what type of pressure? It's a total pressure. So total pressure is equal to your gauge pressure plus atmospheric pressure. This you have studied in your fluid mechanics. So what is the gauge pressure they are given? It is 136 millimeters of water, okay, divided by specific gravity of Hg. Okay, what they are given is actually this, they are given in terms of, this is actually, this is H of water they are given, but here they are given in terms of Hg, atmosphere, which is 760. Okay, so what is this here they are given? It is 136 divided by specific gravity of your Hg is 13.6 plus your 760. So 136 by 13.6, it is 10. So 10 plus 760, it is 7770 millimeters of Hg. This is my pressure at which the gas is supplied. Okay, why I need is actually because I need to see, I need to calculate the volume of the gas that is in meter cube per minute that is supplied at NTP, that is normal temperature and pressure. So that can be found by V. See, PV is equal to C. I can find it actually. I can easily find it. So that is volume of the gas supplied. Volume of the gas supplied at NTP. Okay, what is it actually? And so volume of the gas supplied at NTP is given by, look at this. This is a simple formula based on your PV. So this particular thing, PV is equal to MRT. So R, all those things actually we have to, so here, so this will be V by T, okay, V by T into T at NTP by P at NTP multiplied by T. Simple formula. So this is the thing what I am trying to do. PV is equal to MRT. Okay, I am trying to do P at NTP, V at NTP, and T at NTP, and P at normal thing. I am trying to find from this actually. What is the volume of the gas at NTP? So just do a little bit of cross multiplication. MR will just go out. I am going to get the volume of your NTP at volume of the gas at NTP. Okay, so this will be V by T, or you can do simple cross multiplication. You will get it like this. So PV by T. So look at this. If I try to bring it over, PV by T is equal to TNTP by PNTP. I am going to get VNTP. That's all. Simple calculations. There is no big mathematics involved here. Okay. So volume of the gas at NTP is equal to, what is the volume of gas here? What is the volume of the gas they are supplying? It is actually 0.1. Yeah. What's it actually? It is mass of fuel supplied is actually 7.5 kg. 7.5 kg per second. That is 7.5 divided by 40. That is 0.1875. 0.1875 into, what is the temperature at NTP? It is 273. That is 0 degrees Celsius or 273 degree Kelvin. So what is the pressure? Just now we calculated. It is 770 mm of Hg divided by, okay, divided by, what is the temperature? It is 17 degrees. 17 plus 273, it is 290. What is the pressure at NTP? It is 760 mm of Hg. So look at this, numerator and denominator, they are in millimeters of Hg. So automatically I'll get it directly in meter cube. See, this value will be in meter cube per minute. So volume of the gas at NTP, so I'm getting around 0.1787. Okay, 0.178 meter cube per minute. PV is equal to MRT equation I am trying to use, and I am trying to get it. Because your calorific value they are given it as at NTP. So you have to find the volume at NTP. You have to find the volume at NTP. So normal temperature, and so this is the normal. See, this is the NTP. That particular thing is at 0 degrees Celsius. So on the same fashion, I think there is one more problem. 10th problem. If you try to do it, actually, you will understand it more. You will be able to understand this particular. So let's proceed it actually. So now I have found the volume of the gas at NTP multiplied by calorific value at NTP. I will get the heat supplied. Okay. So heat supplied. Heat supplied QH is equal to volume of the fluid, that is gas at NTP, multiplied by calorific value at NTP. So volume of the fluid is actually 0.178, okay, into this calorific value is 19 into 10 to the power of 6 actually. So put 10 to the power of 3, you will be getting in kilojoules per minute. Okay, I am getting around 0.178 into 19 10 to the power of 3 I am getting around 3,382. 3,382 kilojoules per minute. Okay. Now heat equivalent of BP. So I would see what is BP? It is brake power is 13.28. So if I want to convert it to kilojoules per minute, multiply by 60. That is heat equivalent of brake power. Heat equivalent of the brake power. What is it actually? It is 13.28 into 60. So it is 796.4 kilojoules per minute. Heat loss due to cooling water. Heat lost due to cooling water. Heat loss due to cooling water. What is it actually? This is actually QW is equal to mass of water, Cp of water into delta T of water. So mass of water, it is actually, just now we have found it is 4.5 kg per minute, 4.5. So Cp of water I can put 4.187 kilojoules per kg degree Kelvin into delta T is 45. So heat loss due to this particular thing is actually 4.5 into 4.187 into 45. I am getting around 847.87. Okay, 847.867, that is 87 kilojoules per minute. Yeah.
Sir, delta TW, why we are not taking it in Kelvin?
No, delta TW weather, see, it is actually temperature difference. See, Kelvin minus Kelvin, say let it be 700 Kelvin minus 500 Kelvin. How much it is actually? It is 200 Kelvin. Say 200 degrees Celsius minus maybe 10 degrees Celsius. What is the delta T? It is 190 degrees Celsius. So delta T, you don't have any unit. So it is the temperature difference. Kelvin minus Kelvin, you will end up with the same number. Degree Celsius minus degree Celsius, you will end up with the same number. Are you getting? Okay. Now frictional power. Okay. Frictional heat loss due to friction also we have to find. So what is frictional power here? So frictional power, that is FP. It is a difference between your IP and BP. So it is 17.25 minus 13.28. This is your frictional power, which is 3.97 kilowatts. 17.25 minus 13.28. So 3.97 kilowatts. What is the equivalent of it actually? So heat equivalent of frictional power. So I want it in kilojoules per minute. So frictional power. So what it is actually? This will be 3.97 into 60. So it is 238.2 kilojoules per minute. Okay. Now you look at it actually. See, I am producing around 3,382 kilojoules per minute of heat. So part of it is getting converted to brake power. That is what is this is what is I am getting as an output. Something is lost due to cooling water, and something is lost due to frictional. There is something called as unaccounted, which may be due to heat taken away by your engine, the structure itself, or heat taken away by the exhaust, heat taken away by the radiation. Okay. So now, if you want to find that, we call it as unaccounted heat. Unaccounted heat, which may include radiation. So then engine structure,
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So the math teacher is waiting on the Google Meet, and she's
Okay,
telling
no.
that it's only.
Now still I have another 2 more minutes. No, why you people are in a hurry? So just give me one more minute. Unaccounted heat. So radiation, engine structure. Then we have the exhaust. Okay. So exhaust. So we have this part. So how to find this actually? This is heat supplied minus everything. You add up everything. That is your heat equivalent of BP plus heat taken away by the water, then heat converted as frictional power. You add up everything. That is 3,382 minus of. So this is 796.4 plus heat taken away is 847.87 plus 238.2. So this will be your unaccounted heat. 3382 minus 796.4 plus 847.87 plus 238.2. If I try to add it, it is 1499.53 kilowatts. This is unaccounted. Okay, so all the calculations we have done. Now we have to tabulate it. What is this actually? What is the energy input on one side and energy output on the other side? If you try to tabulate it, you try to, so what is the heat in kilojoules per minute? Percentage. Kilojoules per minute energy that is output in kilojoules per minute, and percentage if you try to balance it, that is called as heat balance sheet. Okay, if you're able to do that, can you do that? That is as an homework.